So can everyone welcome Jay up to the stage, please? He's got to do his walk. Here it comes. Here he comes, everybody.
Everyone can hear me okay, by the way? Yes. Okay. Everybody's been asking the same question. Over the past week, I've been all over North America. I've literally been everywhere from Vancouver to Kelowna to Atlanta to Toronto, and everyone has been asking the same question. That question is this: how will we be disrupted? How will we be disrupted? And naturally, right, the theme of this year is what? Generative AI, yeah. And I just had to ask ChatGPT, how are we going to be disrupted? And this is what it said. I said, hey, if I was an HR professional, how would you replace my job? Right? What is it going to be that you're going to replace my job with? And by the way, it's going to be really hard to see. You're not going to be able to see it. But it started to reply back and it said, you know what? I'm coming for you. It didn't say that. It didn't say that at all. In fact, what ChatGPT said was this: I'm going to replace the redundant, the repetitive, the repeatable tasks. That's what I have for you. But there are things that HR professionals do that I won't be able to replace. And the three that I started to draw out from its answer were this. Number one, strategic vision. GPT is not going to give you strategic vision. Number two, the ability to drive change. And then number three, adapting and evolving as work adapts and evolves. And I think the question is wrong. This question of how will we be disrupted is wrong. In fact, a better question is this: how are we going to disrupt HR? How are we going to disrupt HR? And I think I can synthesize those three ideas into one. It's this: how do we share an evolvable vision that others can soar upon? Everyone close your eyes for a second or lower your gaze. And what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to have you breathe out 3 times like this. And when you breathe out, right, you're going to open your eyes and we're going to time travel. I know you didn't know time travel was possible, but yes, it is. Right? So everyone ready? All right. You're going to breathe out. Feedback. You're going to breathe out. 3, 2, 1. Boom! Imagine it's 1895, time traveled. You are in Dayton, Ohio. Dayton, Ohio? What? Why, Jay? Why did we go to Dayton? We're in Vancouver. You're in Dayton, Ohio. You're walking downtown, you're crossing the street, you pass a cafe, and as you cross the street, the horse and carriage go clop, clop, clop behind you. As you turn to look, a bicycle just whirs by you. You're like, oh, dang, that almost hit me. Bicyclist, you got to be careful. But you cross the street, you get to your destination, you push open the door, and the door rings with just this gentlest jingle. The store owner greets you. He says, oh my gosh, you're finally here. I almost didn't get it done, but 1 second. And he runs to the back. And then all of a sudden, he wheels out this brand new bicycle. As you glance down, you can't help but smile and say, wow, I now own a Wright Brothers bicycle. Oh yeah. You turn to Orville, the store owner, and you can't help but notice. You say, hey, you seem a little eccentric, a little excited. What's going on? And he's just about to answer you when from the back you hear, flight! Wilbur's voice screeches from the back room. We're going to give humans the power of flight. Orville's like, you want to see? And he beckons you. He walks you to the back room. And you find this. Pause. If this man showed you this contraption and said, get in it, because I'm going to push you off a cliff, would you do it? Remember, this is back in 1895. So back then, Wilbur and Orville Wright weren't flight mechanics. They were bicycle safety specialists. They were pretty successful. They had built up a business where it had grown. They had started selling their own bicycles. But remember, this is 1895. We didn't even have cars back then. The first car didn't come along till 1896, which was by Carl-Benz. And what you see here is what became the Mercedes-Benz. And mass-produced automobiles didn't even come along until 1901 with the Oldsmobile. And so here we are in this notion where it's bicycle, horse and buggy, flight. Bicycle, horse and buggy, flight. There's a bit of a gap here, right? But they're like, yeah, heck yeah, we're going to do it. So let me ask you this. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. I want you to turn to the person next to you, introduce yourself if you haven't done so already, and I want you to share with them what the vision is that you have for your organization. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Ready? Go. It's an interesting thought, right? If you think about it. Some of you might have been in the boat where you're like, oh shoot, I don't really know my vision. It's really long. It's about a paragraph long. Others of you were like, oh no, I got my vision. Here it is. We're empowering people to live their healthiest life, right? Whatever your vision was. Some were this. Does anybody have any guesses as to what Wilbur and Orville Wright's vision was? Any guesses? They wanted to fly, baby. Yes. Give humanity the power of flight. Give humanity the power of flight. What does this have to do with HR? Back in December of 2022, I want to give you a local example. Van City made an announcement. Their chief people officer, Janelle Aker, she went up, and you probably, everyone in this room probably liked that post, by the way. But she made an announcement. You probably know where I'm going with this. She said, we're going to give every employee at Van City $10,000 of mental health benefits. Some of you are like, wait, what? That's a lot of money. And what's beautiful about Janelle's vision, and here's where we get to an evolvable vision, is it's no longer hers. Because other organizations are going to see that, and they're going to take it, and they're going to make it better, because I think now more than ever before, mental health for everyone, I haven't asked her if this is their vision. This is what I would guess it would be, right? Mental health for everyone. And if we're able to shift the dial just like a little bit, imagine where we'll be in 5 years. For any immigrants in the room, if you asked my mom what her vision was when we first immigrated here, I'm from Singapore originally. We moved here in 1990. And that's my mom in the background and my wife. And if I was to ask her what her vision was for us, it was simply this. How do we build a better future for our kids? And sometimes I wonder myself, man, am I even like living up to this vision, or am I completely failing it? Am I making the most out of it? But then I remember that we have Alexa and Siri nowadays, and CDs don't exist anymore. So I think I'm pretty okay on that front. But you could not have possibly asked my mom to guess 34 years ago what today would look like. And I've taken her vision and hopefully evolved it a little bit too. In 1909, Wilbur Wright flies down the Hudson River with 1 million people watching them. They had accomplished, thank you, yes! It didn't, by the way, it didn't happen overnight. 1895 to 1909, it took 15 years for them to try to recognize that vision. Despite that, we went from flight to space in 60 years. On 1969, Neil Armstrong lands on the moon. And by the way, at this point, you're all thinking, wait a minute, Jay, like, come on, we already know this story. We already know this story, right? Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, we got it. what you might not know is this. When Neil Armstrong lands on the moon, he has a patch on his arm. And on his arm, on that patch, was the Wright brothers logo. Because it was a nod to the fact that it wasn't his vision. It was the vision that Wilbur and Orville Wright set years before. And a vision that he took and he was able to manifest into something real. And so how does this apply to HR? It's simple. We need to evolve a vision for our organizations where our people can bring their best, right? Where they can make work matter. Where they're able to fill and fuel work with autonomy and ingenuity and innovation, things that ChatGPT cannot do. So let me ask you this. Who's ready to disrupt HR, baby? Let's go, come on! Noah, I'll pass it back over to you. Thank you.